poppin' YouTube? Your boy Justin here again as always, aka Adobe One Kenobi, fresh off of a haircut, feeling good, loving life. This is the fourth time I've recorded this video in the last 24 hours and I am over it. But I'm doing it for y'all. Now, if you've watched this channel at all, you probably assume the majority of the work I do is music video related editing. But the truth is about 85% of my day-to-day income is actually from corporate animations, which look a little something like this. Now, don't get put off by the term animations. I think a lot of editors get scared when they hear that because they think it's something that requires a totally different skill set. And I'm here to show you today that they're actually not too different. You can take your general knowledge of keyframing and things like that and apply it to After Effects and create some pretty cool basic animations. And trust me, even basic animations like I'm about to show you can really increase the amount of work you're getting. I'm talking 3, 4, 5 times as much as you would charge for a regular edit, you can charge for an animation. And trust me, they're actually a hot commodity. Go do some research. Look how many animated explainer videos there are for companies. They're super popular, and with these techniques, you can learn the fundamentals of how to create those and work towards charging the Benjamins. We all want to put food on our table and be a provider and fill those pockets and start a lovely family in the countryside with a white picket fence. And these animations are the key to that. Now, before we get started, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. A couple of my videos have been getting a little self-conscious about how they're performing, and I'm just trying to be a good video father and make sure they get the love and attention they need. So, all you need for this video is Adobe Illustrator and Adobe After Effects. And if you stick around to the end, I'm going to show you a cool trick that I use all the time, which really takes your graphic design or animations to a whole other level while saving you a bunch of time. But you have to stick around. Promise me that. Don't do any of this skipping nonsense because I will find out and you will pay dire consequences. All right, I've done a lot of talking in this intro and I know about 75% of you have already clicked away, but for the people who have stuck around, I love you and let's jump right into it. Alright, so go ahead and open up Illustrator. You'll see that I already have some design elements in there. We're going to be animating a car driving down the highway. Now, because the car is grouped all together, I'm just going to right click and click ungroup so I can manipulate each part of the car individually. You'll notice everything is on one layer right now, so what I'm going to do is take the car, both wheels, and the background and put them on their own individual layers. So you can do this by selecting the object and dragging over the colored square in the layers panel up to its own individual layer. And now you'll see if I toggle the eye icon on and off, each element is on its own layer. So go ahead and save your Illustrator file and open up After Effects. And now that we have After Effects open, you're going to want to import your Illustrator file. So right click in your project tab, hit import and locate your Illustrator file. Now you're going to want to change the import as option from footage to composition retain layer size. This will allow us to import all the individual layers. This is very important. If you import it as footage, it will drop in as one still image and you will not be able to manipulate anything. Alright, so you'll notice that the illustration opens up as a composition. A composition is essentially the exact same thing as a sequence if you're familiar with Premiere Pro. So we're going to go ahead and double click that and open it, and you'll notice that the layers are set up exactly how they were in Illustrator, and they even have the Illustrator icon beside them. And if I toggle them on and off, you'll notice they are all separated individually. Now you also see this little gear looking icon. Go ahead and click that for all the layers. This just continuously rasterizes all of your design elements, making sure they're sharp throughout the entire video. If you don't have it on, you'll notice that your elements will be a little blurry. So now I'm just going to increase the size of the background in order to make it big enough so I can keyframe it from left to right to simulate that the car is moving essentially. So go ahead and hit S on your keyboard. It'll bring up the scale options and you can increase it as big as you want. And then hit P on the keyboard to bring up the position options. And then you can just move it left and right, up and down to get it in the right position. All right, so next I'm going to prepare the wheels. I just want to make sure first that the anchor point is directly in the center, because once I start animating the rotation, I want them to rotate from the direct center of the wheel so it isn't offset. By default, they should come with the anchor point in the middle, but in case they aren't, go up to the toolbar, hit your anchor point tool, and you can readjust like this. Okay, so now we're going to actually animate with keyframes. So go to your background layer, hit P to bring up the position options again, and then you're going to notice a little stopwatch beside the position tab. Click that to set a keyframe, and then we're going to move over about 10 seconds and set another one, and then drag your position to the final spot you want it to land on. And now you'll notice if we play it back, the background is moving and we have the majority of the animation done. All right, so now we're going to animate the rotation property of the wheels, starting with the back wheel. So click on your back wheel layer, hit R to bring up the rotation properties, and like we did before, hit the stopwatch button to create a keyframe, and then go to the end of the animation, and then we're just going to increase the value. So you can either go by the 0 in the front, which is full rotation. So if you want it to spin 3 times, put a 3 there, it'll do a full 360-degree turn. Or if you're not doing a full rotation, you can use the right side of the properties and just scale it up manually like that. Now, because the two wheels are going to be doing the exact same thing, I'm just going to copy these 2 keyframes and paste them onto the front wheel. You can do that by hitting Command C and Command V to paste. And now you'll notice the wheels are spinning, giving the impression that the car is actually moving. All right, so one of the final steps we're going to need to do is we actually want the car to be moving, not just sitting in place with the background moving. So what we're going to do is select the car and the 2 wheel layers, and we're going to pre-compose them. So pre-composing is basically just putting them in a folder so they can all be manipulated. It's essentially the same thing as nesting in Premiere Pro. So we're going to go ahead and name that, name your pre-composition, and then I like to put it into its own separate folder. And again, make sure you hit that continuously rasterize button, because once you put it in a pre-composition, it will get blurry again. So a rule of thumb is usually if the option is there, hit the continuously rasterize button. All right, so now we're just going to keyframe the position of the car and wheel pre-comp. I'm going to make it so it starts off slow, and then near the end of the animation, it speeds out a frame. So I'm going to use 3 keyframes to do that. All right, so if we play it back, we'll see that the animation is pretty much done. I'm just going to do one more thing to add a bit of style. So I'm going to pre-compose the background layer as well as the car pre-comp so that I can do a bit of zooming into the entire animation. So this is a very basic way to do zoom ins and zoom outs and stuff like that. If you have very basic animations, this will work totally fine. But when you get a little more in depth, you can start using what's called cameras. All right, so finally, I'm just going to adjust the scale on the final pre-comp so the entire animation is being affected, and it's just slowly zooming in to add a bit of a more organic feel to the entire animation. And if we play it back, voila, there you have it. And there you have it. Surprisingly easy, right? Now, as promised, I'm going to show you the trick that I use very often that's really going to speed up your animation process as well as take your graphic design to a whole other level. And I guess I can't really say your graphic design, but it will help your animations look 10 times more professional. So there's a lot of sites out there. I personally use freepik.com. These sites will provide you with free graphic design elements, and I say free because they always have a free option, but you will usually have to credit the designer, which is fair. But there's also a paid option where you pay something like $10, $15 a month, and you have unlimited access to thousands upon thousands of graphic design assets, and you can use them exactly how I did in this video to create some mind-blowing animations and really diversify your portfolio. Now, I'm not getting paid by Freepik whatsoever. 1, they have no idea who I am. 2, I have 250 subscribers, so nobody's doing a brand deal with me yet. But we're going to keep pushing. Determination, focus, never giving up, believing in yourself at all costs, providing for the famdem, and so on and so forth. But yeah, check out Freepik, check out other sites like that, and you can find some really great elements. Pretty much whatever you want. If you're looking for a family of characters, just search family and it'll pop up. And you can use the techniques I showed you today, set up those elements in Illustrator, plug them into After Effects, and create some wild stuff. Now finally, do me a favor. As per usual, hit that thumbs up button. If you have a question, leave it in the comments section below. I will get back to you as soon as I can. And finally, do me a favor, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Tell a friend to tell a friend. It means a lot to me. We post every Thursday, and the content is usually pretty good if I do say so myself. So do me that favor. I really appreciate it. And until next time, peace.